In this video, I will explain a very specific thing, that is how to select a topic for research and how to formulate or frame a research problem. I think many of the research scholars encounter this issue, how to select a topic for research and how the research problem needs to be stated. So I will try to give you some clues regarding this, but this may not be sufficient for you to frame a research problem, but it will guide you in some way how to choose a topic for research and how to frame a research problem. So with this hope, I will explain this particular aspect. And how do we select a topic for study? The topics for research social science study arise from many sources. Many sources are there to choose a topic for study. You can take past studies, you can refer past studies, you can take personal experiences, and you can discuss with the friends and family, and you can obtain an idea from a book, a magazine, even a news that appears in a newspaper can spark an idea of a research work in your mind. So the topics for the social science study arise from many sources. It may be something that arouses your curiosity, something about which you hold deep commitments, or something you believe is wrong and want to change. So those things which raises some curiosity in you. While readings about something about the Indian economy, some important points may stuck you, and at that point some curiosity may be sufficed in your mind, and that will become the starting point of a research work. In short, there is a broad range of what to study. Nonetheless, there are certain limits. To be appropriate for a research study, the topic needs to generalize about empirically observable patterns that operate in aggregates. So all topics you cannot take for a research study. To be for a topic to be an appropriate one for research study, then that topic must be a general one. It should not be a specific one. It needs to generalize about empirically observable patterns. It should be empirically observable, and it should operate in aggregates. So something peculiar to one individual, one particular locality, that you cannot take for research work. The things that you take for research must have certain kind of certain generalized quality. A good research topic must have four general features. One is generalize. This is very important. A good research topic goes beyond one isolated, unique instance. That's what I have said. Unique instances that cannot become a part of the research work. So research work, for a thing to be research work, it must have a generalized applicability. The topic should be something like to reoccur and that applies to a number of people, places, times, or events. So that topic will become appropriate for research work. Secondly, patterns. A good topic examines something in which we see a regularity, structure, or form that can be summarized. So there should be a pattern of relationship, some regularity in the occurrence. For example, for example, business cycle, it has a regularity. It repeats, means in every 10 or 15 years. So that's a regularity. Something related to the structure. So this can be become a topic for research. So a good topic examines something in which we see a regularity, structure, or form that can be summarized, or that describes a collection of complex processes, events, situations, or relationship in a simple or more condensed way. Aggregates, the topic applies to a collection of people or other units, families, business, schools, hospitals, neighborhood, etc. It is not about one family, it is about families. It's not about one business, it's about businesses. So the people units do not have to be connected to another or even be aware of the others. There could be as few as 10 or as many as hundreds of million people. So therefore, it should be related to some kind of aggregates. Fourthly, and most importantly, it should be empirically observable. The topic appears in the observable world in a way that we can dictate and observe it using our senses directly or indirectly. So these are the important qualities of a good research. A good research topic must have general features like generalization, pattern, aggregates, empirically observable. The idea of looking for patterns and aggregates that is some generalizability rules our topics solely focused on particular situations and single cases. So single case topics you cannot take for research. Another type of topic ruled out for research is things that are impossible to observe. So if those things which you cannot observe, that uh, you cannot make a subject for research work. We can, however, do a research on people's belief about imaginary objects. These are other topics about what is invisible can be measured indirectly using questionnaires. For example, you can measure attitude of the people, opinion of the people, feeling of the people, belief of the people. But for that itself, for these things also, you must use a questionnaire. So once you use questionnaire, it means that you are going to convert these things into certain quantitative forms. So therefore, it is very important that we must do a research only in the case of these things which are observable. In summary, appropriate topics for social science research are beyond isolated, individualistic situations. They involve seeking systematic patterns across aggregates. Topics need to be about aspects of the visible real world. That's things we can empirically observe or measure directly or indirectly. Research questions, you need to focus on research question to make it much narrower than topic. So once you select a topic, then the topic must be reduced to the form of a research problem. There must be research questions. This depends on two general approaches. You can do an inductive approach and deductive approach. If you adopt an inductive approach, you begin with evidence and then slowly build toward generalizations. You know what is inductive method from particular to general. So you have to begin with the evidence, then you have to go to the generalizations. If you adopt a deductive approach, you can start from a general pattern, or you start with a summary data or a general pattern, or an educated guess of what you think about. Then move to word-specific observable evidence that allow you to test or verify the pattern or educated guess. Many studies are not strictly inductive or deductive. So we have two methods, inductive and deductive methods, but many studies are not strictly inductive. Most exploratory studies use inductive method, but explanatory studies use deductive method. Descriptive methods may use both deductive and inductive approach. If you follow a deductive approach with quantitative data, you will need to devote significant time early in a research study to specifying the research question precisely and planning most study details. Once you design the study, the other steps can proceed in a straight way. But if you are using an inductive approach, you can devote less time to developing a research question and planning details in advance. You can spend more time for collection of data. It takes time to develop the judgment skills to determine whether quantitative or inductive quantitative study is best for results. Three things will help you to identify most effective. Reading many past studies. So what type of study you must do, inductive or deductive? For that you must read to know what type of study you should do. For that you must read past these past things, reading many past studies. Learning to appreciate the specific features of qualitative and quantitative data, understanding how to use various research techniques, and recognize their strengths and limitations. You need a research question to design a study, or you can adjust the research questions to study progresses. If you adopt a deductive quantitative approach, you must be very specific before you can proceed. But if you adopt an inductive qualitative approach, you can begin with the general questions that you narrow further during the data collection process. Narrowing a topic into research. So here we will discuss how to narrow a topic into research. So once you select a topic, then it has to be narrowed down to research questions. So if you have a research questions, from there you can start making the research statement of research, and then you can go for research objectives, etc. So it's very important that you land on a research question from a topic. How to do that? There are several strategies to focus a topic into a question, to focus a topic into a question. And you can combine more than one of them. What are these? Examine the research literature. So from a literature review, you may design to replicate a past study exactly or with slight variations. You might explore unexpected findings discovered in the past research. In many reports, authors suggest future research issues. So if you examine the research literature, you can get a number of future research possibilities. Authors of research work, they may suggest what are the future areas where researchers can concentrate. You can also extend an existing explanation to a topic or setting. For example, the study of workplace relations in a hospital found that nurses and the staff cooperate and more productive under certain arrangements. You might conduct a study to see whether the same arrangements have the same outcome in non-medical setting. So in medical setting, you have found this. So whether it is applicable in non-medical setting, you can go for that. That means you are extending the study from one setting to the other study. So this is a way of narrowing down the topic into a research question. For example, a study found that increased police foot patrols produced more calls to police when trouble occurred. You may examine exactly how this occurred. Did the foot patrols increase familiarity, feelings of trust, and belief in the honesty of police? And in turn, these factors increase calls to police. So these are some examples where we can choose certain specific cases for research work. Secondly, talk over ideas with others. So firstly, we have to examine the research literature, and research literature will itself provide certain future research prospects. And secondly, talk over ideas with others. So you can discuss the matter with your friends, with your supervisors, ask people who are knowledgeable about the topic for questions. It's useful to seek out those who hold opinions that differ from yours on the topic and discuss possible research questions with them. A research question might help resolve different positions on issues. So therefore, you discuss with whatever comes to your mind, you discuss it with others. Others will help you to reshape it. In that way, also, you can come to a specific research problem. Thirdly, specify the context. This is very important thing or very easy thing. Apply finding or topic a specific time, society, geography. For example, perhaps you want to study, for example, your question will examine divorce. For example, in the case of a divorce, study something about the divorce in a particular era. For example, what was the divorce pattern in 1960s or early 2010s? Then you can locate the study, southern area, northern area, or a study in Kerala, a study in Tamil Nadu, like that. You can also narrow down the study to a category of people like indigenous people, tribals, or disadvantaged community, like that. So it's a very easy way of narrowing down the topic. Specify the context. Location you can specify, a particular era you can specify. You can specify a category of people also. So this is an easy way. Fourthly, specify the purpose of your study. Do you want the study to be an exploratory, descriptive, explanatory, or evaluation? Tailor your search questions into one or another purpose. So this is very important idea, that is specify the purpose of study. Then you can make it explanatory, evaluative study, descriptive study, like that. This is also a way of narrowing down the topic into a research problem. So this is how the topic of research can be narrowed down into research questions. This can be done in several ways, like examining the past literature and try to find out the scope of researcher from that past literature, and talk over the idea with others who are knowledgeable. Specify the context. This is perhaps one easiest way. And fourthly, specify the purpose of your study.